before I came to US, I had the notion of like pretty much what we saw in movies, what you will see in like Vegas or Miami or New York, right? I ended up in a very small town. You've never seen a black man before. My first few days, I walk up to people, I shake their hands, I try to give them a hug, and they're like, yo. I think what helped me, I did some internships as well. And during these internships, I realized I was like, man, I want to be like that guy. I saw some few successful black people.
The first real break, the moment when everything started to change.
Man, when I graduated, I worked for this nonprofit thing, and the goal was to go to law school, right? This nonprofit that I worked with had somebody who was like, why do you want to be a lawyer? What kind of lawyer? I was like, immigration law, blah, blah, blah. The biggest thing.
What kind of mindset do you need to survive and grow in this like top tier environment?
I've worked with people from all over the world, different culture. You need to figure out how to relate with people. You could be the smartest person in the room, but if you have really poor social skills, you might not survive in this kind of environment.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Godson Pratt podcast. Today we have a very special guest. Yao, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir.
Yes,
welcome
sir.
to the Godson Pratt podcast.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
So, like you guys already know, the Godson Pratt podcast is always about sharing amazing and inspiring stories that can, encourage, inspire, motivate other people to believe in themselves and to believe like everything is possible. And with Yao's story that we're going to get into today, I think by the end of this podcast, you're going to know that if you have faith and you believe in yourself and you keep persevering, everything is possible. So once again, welcome to the Godson Pratt podcast.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, one thing about, like when, someone sees your resume, having worked at Amazon, Meta, and now TikTok and all the other, big stuff that you've done, somebody would say, he made it. Because for almost like 98% of us, having, being able to work in a big tech company like Meta or Amazon is almost like impossible. Right. And you did it. But I think like it didn't all start from there. So I would like to, today get a little bit, background story on you, like where you grew up and, like what was like childhood life was for you. So let's start from here, right? Okay. When you hear the word like success, what is the first thing that comes into your mind?
That's a very good question. The first thing that comes to mind is responsibility. Right. Success comes with a lot of responsibilities, right? And for me, I believe that anything that you set your mind to, anything you decide to do, you need to be willing to be accountable, disciplined, and take responsibility. Right. So anytime anybody talks about success, those are like the main things that comes to mind. But the main thing that I would emphasize on is a lot of responsibility. Okay. Yeah. So you grew up in Ghana, right? I did. Where in Ghana did you grow up, and what was your dream back then in Ghana? Oh man, that you take me way back. So I grew up in Accra, which is the capital of Ghana. Right. And growing up, I grew up in a very, I would say, a decent family. My dad was, he worked in the banking industry. Okay. I worked for Barclays for many years. So we had everything that we needed growing up. We had a very good education growing up. My mom was very supportive as well. So my father was huge on education. Right. So everything that I did, I had to have it secondary, and then primary was education. Education was paramount in my family. Right. So growing up as a kid, I think I had a very decent life. I loved a lot of sports, so I played a lot of sports. Wasn't very good, but you did your best. But I did my best. Exactly, exactly. So over time, as I got older, I have probably like 6 siblings, I would say. Okay. All took a different path. But to your question, growing up, I always wanted to be a lawyer. Okay. Okay. Yeah. What happened? Life. Sometimes I would say anything that you set your mind on, It's good to have goals and aspirations,
Right.
but you should also be willing to accept that things might change. And for me, that was what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but when did you first start thinking about moving abroad, and what did you imagine that life in America would be?
Oh, could be. That's a good question. So, when I was in high school in Ghana,
Yeah.
I would say maybe my junior year, junior year going into senior year,
Right.
I had an opportunity to study abroad.
Okay.
And when this opportunity came, as someone who wanted to be a lawyer, I was like, there is no place in this world that had like great law schools besides the United States,
Exactly.
right? So to me, it was like all the dreams were lining up. So when I had that opportunity in my head, I was like, hey, once I get that opportunity to get out of Ghana, I just want to fulfill my dream as a lawyer.
Right.
So that was what I wanted to do.
So, what was your family's reaction when you first said you wanted to study abroad?
They were excited for me. My mom, not so much, because I'm a mama's boy. My mom. I spent a lot of time with my mom growing up, so it was more personal for her, where she was like, I'm gonna miss you and all of that.
Right.
I think for my dad, he was very excited because he was open to the idea of me exploring different places in the world and adapting to their systems and education and all of that.
So your first day in the United States, how was it? Do you remember what it felt like?
Oh man, you take me way back. So let me backtrack my story a little bit.
Let's go.
When I came to US, the first time I came as a foreign exchange student, right? And that was the first time I've ever been to US. Before I came to US, I had the notion of like everything was like pretty much what we saw in movies. Like you would go to like what you would see in like Vegas or Miami or New York, right? But it was absolutely not. Like I ended up in a very small town. You've never seen a black man before. So yeah, it was, and I've never been around white people at that time. So it's a big culture shock. And in Ghana, growing up, we're more of we grew up, or at least I grew up, more of like a community mindset, right? Where in US, people are more individualistic, right? So that was kind of hard for me to adapt. And my first few days, I walk up to people, I shake their hands, I try to give them a hug, and they're like, yo, like, yeah, yo, like you're you're not back home. Like, but then I think what helped me pretty much become very acclimated into the system or the culture was I was very open-minded. Right. So I accepted the people for who they were, even though not all of them accepted me. Eventually, knowing who Yah was, they opened up. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what was the biggest culture shock that you first, experienced, there in the US?
The biggest culture shock. I think the way people think. I thought it was out of this world. Like people would look at me and they're like, "Hey, you from Africa, so do you have houses? Do you ask really stupid questions?" Where I'm like, "Yo, like back home, like the cars I even see back home, or the cars that like even the cars my dad drove.
Right.
I'm like, I never even see some of those cars out here. So what you mean, right?
Exactly.
And I think another thing too is that people are more direct than in Ghana.
Right.
Growing up in Ghana, so I think that was kind of a shock for me as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So at this point, was there ever a moment that you felt like maybe you made a mistake, like moving abroad and moving to the States?
I had lots of those moments. I remember one winter, it was so cold. Man, I was like, what am I doing here? It was so cold. And when I was coming, I came with like some jacket that you wouldn't even wear in the summer. Like it was so thin. But I made a lot of good friends that kind of encouraged me. Like my teachers, they were very close to me, and kept telling me, hey, if that's what you want to do,
go for it.
There's a lot of things that we can help you with to make your experience better. So they were the ones that kind of were talking me to, and my dad too. He was very instrumental.
Right.
kept
Right.
me at risk and just making
So,
sure.
so in your opinion, like, what would you say was the toughest part of adopting to a completely new system? Because obviously, moving to the state is like really different coming from Ghana, where you came
Right.
from.
I would say fitting in. So there are like three tiers, right? Or maybe I'll say two tiers, right? In US, race is a big thing,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. Right.
And
Right.
so as a black man, it was just difficult to
Right.
just fit in.
Right. Right.
Simple as that. And then on top of that, I wasn't just only black, I was African as well. Or I am
Right.
African as well,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
Right. Right. Right.
so that level of that or that layer of difference in everything that I did kind of made it very difficult for me to fit in.
Right, right, right. But did you personally face any kind of discrimination or
Oh
bias as a
yeah.
Ghanaian student abroad?
Yeah, like all the time. So I remember there was one instance where we were in class. There were these folks that they knew where I was from, but like they would make fun of like my capital city, make fun of the names, or they look at us and they're like, oh, you guys, like they pretty much look down on us.
Right, right, right.
I've had a lot of situations. I don't think it would be appropriate to share specifics of some of these stories, but
Sure, sure.
and as a high school student, right, it was you get kids from all kind of places, right?
Right, right,
Kids
right,
that are
right,
still figuring out themselves at the
Right.
same time. So had no filter, tell you exactly how they felt. For me, it was a big shock as well because all I knew was I was just a kind guy trying to get to know people. We all fit in, but it's not the reality. It wasn't the reality at the
Right,
time.
right,
Yeah.
right, right. So I suppose like whilst studying and stuff like that,
Right.
you had to do some. Did you have to do any menial jobs to survive, or what was it like?
In high school, not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Okay.
But in college, that's a different story.
Right.
And maybe we'll get there.
Sure,
But my experience in college is completely different from my experience in high school.
Right, right, right. So what was college like then?
Man, college, so at that point, I had learned how to kind of like understand, navigate the system out here. So because originally I'm from Ghana, on longer vacations, sometimes I'm like, I decide to stay in US so I can work a little bit
Right,
to
right,
save money for like the next school year or something like
Right,
that. So I did a lot of like campus jobs just to kind of, just survive
Right,
as a
right,
student.
right. So what did you learn from that experience? Is like doing those little campus jobs to
Yeah,
like,
that's
what
that's
did that type of experience teach you?
humility.
Right.
Humility, because a lot of times the jobs that I did, if I was in Ghana, I wouldn't do something like that.
Exactly,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly,
Like, so I had to do what I had to do to survive. But through that experience as well, I built a lot of connections too,
Right.
because there were other students that were doing it too, Americans, international students, all of that. So to this day, actually, one of my really good friends I work with, he's a doctor now.
Right, right.
And we did the same thing. We were at campus security, the carpet cleaner, like all kinds of jobs, man. But it taught us a lot about ourselves, about discipline,
Right.
about motivation. Because every time I had to do this, I look at myself and I'm like, I don't want to do this for the rest of my
Right,
life. You
right,
know what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
So
right.
I try to do it. It kind of motivates, like it puts me in that mindset where it keeps constantly reminding myself that
Right,
hey,
right.
this is just temporary.
Exactly,
Steady hard. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
But was there a point where you almost like you felt like giving up and going back home because
Oh
obviously
yeah, absolutely. I would say like my sophomore year, I had a lot of friends with me. Some you might probably know, also from Ghana, and we looked at ourselves. And we're like, what are we doing here, right? Like,
right.
but then at the same time, I thought about it. I was like, okay, if I was to go back to Ghana, can I really build a career in Ghana?
Right.
So that was something also that I started thinking about, where I'm like, at that point I had no establishment in Ghana. So
Right,
I'm like,
right.
what is it like? What were my options, right? And at the end of the day, I think that was what kept me also going in the United States, because I was like, it's the land of the free. You can do whatever you want,
Exactly.
right? So long as you apply yourself.
Right,
So,
right. So how did you keep your faith and motivation during those hard times, like especially when you felt like giving up and going back home?
Yeah, during those days, I would say what kept me going was family.
Right,
Yeah, my
right,
family was
right,
very
right,
supportive.
right.
They constantly kept reminding me what I wanted to do, which, like I said earlier on, I was an aspiring lawyer at the time.
Right, right.
So they constantly kept reminding me. I have a really good support system. My brothers, I would say, and my dad as well, my mom, my parents, all of them. So that kept me going. And then also seeing the opportunities
Right.
after school. So what that means for me, at least, was I did some internships as well, right? And during these internships, I realized I was like, man, I want to be like that guy.
Right.
Like I saw a lot of I saw not a whole lot, but I saw some few successful black people.
Right,
And I was
right,
like, man, I want to be like this guy.
right,
And I'm so determined. If I want something,
You
I've
figure
got to
it out.
figure out a way to
Right,
get it. You know
right,
what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
So
right.
that kept me going for a long time. But yeah, I think that was it.
So, is there like one story from that period that still makes you emotional when you think about it? And if there is, can you share with us?
Man. I think it was 2009 Christmas,
Right.
and I had I had a family member that lived in New York,
Okay.
and I was in Washington State, by the way.
Right,
So I
right.
had a family member that lived in New York and was like, "Hey, you should come spend the Christmas with us." And everything was great, and then last minute they changed plans
Okay.
and decided to go to Ghana instead. So during that time, I had nobody. I didn't know no one. And it was like, we had like 18 inches of snow, a lot of snow all over the place, nobody. And I had to stay on campus.
Right, right, right.
And I think that experience for me was like the toughest, one of, I would say, top three experiences I've ever had. Because I had no food, no money. I was still in college. Uh, at that time, I hadn't even started working yet. So no food, no money.
Right.
It was hella cold, and at the end of the day, I just constantly had to start reminding myself
Right.
why I'm doing this, right?
Exactly, exactly. So, now fast forward, you didn't necessarily become a lawyer,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you turn out all right, so
I
to
turned
speak,
out all
right?
right, all right.
And like now looking how jacked you are, it makes sense that you were like campus security and all those type of stuff, right?
That's not where I got it from, but I could talk a little bit about that later.
Let's go, let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. Well, so I think for me, during the times that I was working on campus, right, there was a lot of downtime, right? So because it's the summertime, right? So
Right, right.
usually when summer hits, a lot of my friends, the Americans, will go back home. They go to their lake houses, do all these fun things. I stayed on campus and worked, and after that, I had a lot of time.
Right.
So I kept asking myself, what can I do to better myself?
Right,
So I did a lot of reading, I did a lot of research, and then I picked out working out.
Okay.
So that was the big difference. I had a lot of time during the summer, spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to better myself.
Right,
And then I started with the discipline of exercise.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. But this question comes in mind as well because, like you said, your friends would go home and go to like, um, summer vacation,
Right.
summer homes, cabins and stuff like that.
Right.
And you had to stay, on campus and work and stuff like that, right?
Right.
But did you ever feel like, embarrassed or looked down on because of the kind of work that you had to do just to, survive?
Yeah, all the time. And it's funny enough because I mean, I'm not okay. Let me put it this way. During that period, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the times, or a lot of the people that I kind of knew would even, encourage me to find something better.
Right, right.
But the thing was, what they didn't understand was I didn't really have an option.
Right, right,
Right? So
right,
it's like if I had an option, yeah, of course I would not be doing that.
Makes sense,
But
makes sense.
I didn't really have an option. So I had to let them know that, the circumstance that I'm in is completely different from what you're in. Right?
Exactly.
And if it was hard for them to understand. So, some will make fun of me because they didn't understand the circumstance I was in. And me being an open-minded person and always, just doing my own thing, like I didn't really take it personal because I knew I knew what I wanted. I knew where I was headed. So that was nothing to me.
Right. But then again, at that point, you must have been really young and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So how did you keep yourself grounded, to make sure like you follow through on the path?
Man, I would say, I mean, just believing in myself.
Right.
Yeah, just believing in myself, and just picking up different things, which was working out, right? Yeah, exactly. It was an outlet for me, and I play soccer too.
Right.
So every time I had time,
Like when you say soccer, American soccer or
oh,
British
so yeah,
soccer?
well, yeah, well, world anywhere else it would be football, right? But in US it's soccer. So I play soccer. I did that all the time, and I box too. I used to box, yeah. So that was like one of the things that kept me going.
Right. So, now with all these, struggles and challenges and stuff like that, you pushed through, you believed in yourself, you had faith, and then you pushed through. What was like your first real break, the moment when everything started to change?
Oh man, I didn't even know where to start. So so okay, let me backtrack a little bit. So after college, right? Because I told you I wanted to be a lawyer. I was a double major.
Right.
Got good grades, thankfully. And then when I graduated, I worked for like this nonprofit thing, and the goal was to go to like law school, right?
Okay.
And I was like, man, I don't know if I want to do this, because like this nonprofit that I work with had somebody who was like I guess their lawyer at the time was he was like, why do you want to be a lawyer? What kind of lawyer? I was like, immigration law, blah blah blah. But I think the biggest thing my takeaway there was that I didn't want to be stuck behind a desk.
Right.
And then I also realized I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So then I decided to get my MBA.
Okay.
I think that changed the trajectory of my career.
Right.
So I went back and I got my master's in business administration. And then right before my program ended, then there were like opportunities for internships in these bigger like corporations in Seattle, because I'm based in Seattle. Right. So I visited Boeing. Boeing's headquarters is in Seattle, or was in Seattle. Amazon, Meta, Google, Eddie Bauer, all these big Starbucks.
Right.
So I remember very well, man, we went on campus, we were looking at all these different big companies, right? And then I walked into Amazon, and I just loved the culture so much, like the way people were moving, the way people were interacting. And I remember I told my advisor at the time, I was like, I'm gonna work here right after I graduate.
Wow.
And she was like, sure, like if that's what you want. And I was like, what do I have to do? And she's like, you just gotta find the right people, connect with them, and apply. And I was like, all right. But I said in my mind, I knew I was gonna work there. I didn't know how I was gonna work there, but I knew I was gonna work there.
Wow.
So that was like the turning point in my mind. But not in my career though. That was a turning point in my mind. So after I graduated, I moved to Seattle, and man, I couldn't even get an interview. Like I applied like over 400 times.
Wow. 400.
Yeah, 400 different. After 400, I stopped counting.
Right.
I was just like applying and
But you
applying.
still continued after 400 though?
Yes. Oh, yes, of course. I kept applying. I even went to, I remember I had an interview with a bank.
Right.
And the manager at the time was like, you're way qualified than I am, and you're applying for a smaller role. And she made a joke. She was like, I feel like if I hire you, you'll one day come take my job.
Right, obviously.
So she made a joke, but then she didn't hire me. And so I was like, damn, so she really took it personal.
It wasn't a joke.
It wasn't a joke.
Right.
So I was like, damn, like, I can't even get a breakthrough. But all it takes, this is something I want to tell, the audience out there, right? All it takes is the right opportunity at the right time.
Right.
That's it. That's all it takes. So at Amazon, I met a guy, I can't even remember, this random guy that was trying to talk to me. And it was on a plane. I was traveling from, I can't remember, I think from like Spokane to Seattle or something like that. And he was trying to talk to me, and I wasn't having it. I was and then we got down, he's like, hey, here's my number. Like, if you're ever looking for anything, just hit me up. And I was like, okay, cool. So I kept looking for roles, kept applying. It wasn't working out. And then I remembered that this guy was a recruiter.
Right.
for Google actually.
Okay.
And then I was like, hey, you know, there's this opportunity I've seen online with, you know, can you help me get into Google? And he's like, I can't help you, but I have a friend, a recruiter at Amazon you can talk to.
Right.
And so I reached out to this recruiter, and then this recruiter was like, hey, there are these opportunities, but it's a pilot program. So they need people with MBA here and there, right? So she's gonna give me the interview, and if it works out, then we'll see where that goes.
Right.
So it wasn't even a higher role at Amazon. It was like a lower tier role, I would say, entry level role, I would say.
Wow.
So I took it. I went through the interview. It worked out, and that was it.
Wow.
So, but then for me, I was like, at the time too, again, it wasn't a senior level role. It was an entry level role.
Right.
But I was like, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna figure it out once I get in the company. And that's what I did.
Right. So, you know, when you got that like acceptance email or call or whatever it was,
Right.
what went through your mind? Like, how did you feel? What was your reaction at the time?
You know what? For Amazon, I was quite happy, but I knew what I wanted, and that was not it. Right. So in my head, I was happy, but I was like, all right, let's get it. Let's go. Right. Let's go. Let's get this role. Let's see what I can do to elevate myself in the company.
Right.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I was excited, but I was still hungry. I was still like, you know what I'm saying? Like I was ready to go. I was ready to go.
So you know, backtracking a little bit, right?
Right.
How different was life after getting into Amazon compared to before? Because, you know, obviously you had to do like campus security jobs and menial jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Did life change like tremendously? Like
It did change, but I would say it was just different.
Okay.
I wouldn't say good or bad.
Right.
Because before, what I did on campus was more like physical.
Right.
And at Amazon, it was more mental.
Right.
I had to use mental power, mental brain.
Right.
But I think in a positive light, it was an opportunity to build my network.
Right,
So I got to know a lot of people from different places, different experiences. I had a lot of great mentors that helped me like climb up the ranks. So I think it was a great opportunity for me.
So what would you say, you know, working at Amazon, you know, teach you about work ethic and excellence? Like what did that experience over there teach you about, you know?
Man, it taught me a lot of teamwork, a lot of resilience, really like pretty much understanding how corporate America worked.
Right.
Yeah. So I had a lot of opportunities to work with some great thinkers and great minds from different backgrounds, Indian, Chinese, American, mostly American, I would say, on my team. So yeah.
Okay. So then from Amazon, you transitioned to
Meta, Facebook. Yeah.
Right. How was the transition like?
That changed my life for sure.
Wow.
Yeah. When I went to Facebook, so before even Facebook, I was looking at different opportunities. And again, like I said, it just takes the right opportunity and the right timing, right? A recruiter reached out to me on LinkedIn, and then she was like, hey, I like your resume. There's this opportunity at Facebook. Would you be interested? And I was like, okay, sure. Let's check it out. So I went through the interview panel. I liked it. But when I was there, I just feel like my income changed. Everything changed. And it was a much more senior level, higher role, I would say.
Okay.
So I definitely liked it. But compared to Amazon, it was a little slower.
Right.
It's a much slower company.
So what would you say are like the biggest differences in culture between, you know, like let's say Amazon and Meta?
Facebook and Meta? I would say culture-wise, it's very similar, but you know, Amazon is e-commerce, or at least I was on the e-commerce side.
Right.
And then Facebook is more social media, right? And so I would say the biggest difference, Facebook at the time really emphasized on like networking within work, like community, just like how Facebook is, right? Like it's a social network. So they kind of like try to get all the employees to be more like involved with each other, understand different processes from different places. So it was very different, but very similar in culture.
Okay,
I would say.
okay. So what is something surprising you learned about working in big tech that people outside wouldn't know? Like, did you find anything surprising that you didn't think about before you had the experience yourself?
Yeah, I would say it's not as black and white as a lot of people would think.
Okay.
Like it's a lot of politics. It's a lot of um, there are good and bad, right? But it's a lot of like really understanding the need of the business, right? So like right now I work for TikTok, right? Or I work for ByteDance.
Right.
Completely different company, completely different from Amazon, completely different from Meta, but there's that shared core value of like what you're trying to achieve and what you're trying to attain, right? So I think, in my opinion, everything else that like if somebody sees me, like I travel a lot for work, they think it's glamorous. They're like today I'm in China, I'm in Singapore, I'm all these places, Thailand, sorry, Manila.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, during these travels, I'm actually working like 15 to 16 hours a day, right? Because I'm working with the US team and then I'm working with the APAC team, like different teams all over the world, right? So it's not like as luxurious, like they put me in nice places, but at the end of the day,
You have to work.
exactly,
For sure.
exactly.
So, you have had to go through, like you said, in some position, you had to go through like, entry level and stuff like that, right? And now you have been able to be in also like some managerial position and stuff like that, right? So in your opinion, like what kind of mindset do you need to survive and grow in this like top tier environment, for example?
Yeah, you need to. That's a very good question. I think in this kind of environment, you need to always stay positive.
Right.
You need to have a clear mind because and you can't take anything personal. Because like, I've worked with people from all over the world, like, different culture, and you need to figure out how to relate with people.
Right.
Because you could be the smartest person in the room, but if you have really poor social skills, you might not survive in this kind of environment, right? I've come across a lot of people that have, graduated from Yale, Harvard, like super high IQ,
Right.
but very, very low
Social skills.
social skills, right? And don't know how to relate to people. And those people usually don't last in this kind of. And then I've met the other people where they don't even understand the business, right? But at the end of the day, they have really strong networking where they're still surviving, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's just the unfortunate truth.
Right. So from Amazon to Facebook, now Meta,
Right.
and then TikTok.
Right.
That's incredible.
Appreciate it.
But when you got to TikTok,
Right.
did you finally feel like, now you made it?
I want more, man. I mean, how do I say this? Okay, I'm blessed, right? Like, I think I have made it, but the sky is the limit.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I have so much to give that it's not even tapped yet. Like, I'm trying to run the whole company. You know what I'm saying? So.
But don't say that to your boss yet.
Well,
they don't want to have you coming after
coming
the
up to
jobs,
but like I think for me long term, right? I want to be that person where I know that whatever I want to let people understand that nothing is given for free.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like everything you do, even if it's like sweeping the roads or whatever it is, you got to earn it.
Right.
And I think a lot of the mindset, at least a lot of people that I know, have a mindset of like, you apply yourself a little bit and the rest will happen. Nah, you gotta really work hard. And I think if you set yourself a bar, right, you gotta set it so high that even if you don't achieve it, at least you pass what you kind of like were seeing yourself. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
And the thing with the Chinese, so TikTok is a Chinese company, right?
For sure.
I work with a lot of Chinese, right? And the thing with it, the difference between, in my opinion, between TikTok and the American corporate environment, is that they set the bar so high, so high, where it's like if you even if you can achieve the at Amazon, they'll
Yeah.
set it like 80% or
Right.
maybe 100%, and then hopefully you can achieve like 70 or
70,
whatever, right? Meta too, same thing. But TikTok is 140%.
Right.
And then if you achieve 110 or 100%, that's good
That's
enough.
good. That's good.
You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, yeah, that's I think to answer your question, it does make sense.
Yeah.
I think I would say I've made it, but it's not enough.
Right. But like being some little boy from Ghana,
Yeah, man.
little place,
Yeah, man.
and already you've been able to work in this amazing and incredible, like arguably the biggest tech companies
Right.
on earth, right?
Right.
And here you are, even with the ambition or the vision to even run the company. That's like that's like that's a hell of an ambition for somebody from some little place in Ghana. Where do you get that type of like,
Resilience,
yeah, where does it come from to be like a lot of people when applying for jobs in the United States,
Right.
they would go for the lowest tier possible. You went straight to Amazon, you went to TikTok, you went to Meta,
Right.
and now on top of that, like you want to someday run this company. That's a hell of an ambition.
Right.
Where do you get that type of mindset from?
I mean, I would say mostly my dad.
Right.
Because my dad came from a very humble beginning. Okay. Like he grew up. My dad actually grew up really poor, right?
Okay, talk to me.
And then he worked really hard, and that's why he believes so much in education.
Right.
Now I would say, and again, don't get me wrong, I don't think education is the key. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Because now you might not even need that. Like a lot of people are making it without education. But in my case, in my dad's case, that was all he had.
Right.
And without education, he wouldn't have been able to get to where he got to in life. You know what I'm saying? So he worked so hard to be where he is right now. And so me watching him, at least when I was born, everything was good, right? Like we had everything we needed.
Right.
But at the end of the day, he still went to work, working really hard, and ended up rising in the ranks, becoming, the head of Africa on X, the head of this, right? Global. And he just kept going. He just kept going. So growing up watching him, I was like, man, I want to be like this man. And he had us in the mindset of like always thinking that nothing is given for free. Everything you got to earn. Right. And so anytime we woke up, anytime, I wanted to do something, and my brothers are the same too. We're all different, very different. But we all have that mentality of like, the go-getter.
Wow. Nice. So, let's get a little bit into your mindset and, like a little bit about personal growth as well. Right. So, to be able to do all the things that you have done, you definitely need a lot of discipline, sacrifice, and stuff like that. Right. So my question is, what role did self-discipline and sacrifice play in your journey?
Good question. I think in every aspect of my journey, like you got to be disciplined.
Right.
At least in my scenario, like you can't. There was a time I remember I took a trip to, I can't remember where it was. I think it was like Bali or something. No, it wasn't Bali. Somewhere Southeast Asia.
Okay.
And I was, this is a long time ago, like maybe 14 years ago.
Okay.
And when I was there, I had like a good amount of time to think to myself what I really wanted in life. Because I was so confused. I didn't really know, what the future held for me. But I had to constantly remind myself that I have a target, and the target is to get into corporate America, and that's it. In my head, that was it. I was like, this is what I want. I don't want anything else.
Right.
So being able to constantly remind myself in that moment in life, and at that time, it was like, I can't even remember why I was there. But I had to like cut that trip short and come back, and I'm like, there's more work to do, right? Yeah, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing with myself, right? So just setting that mindset that I'm telling you, for me, it's always been like, you need to have a target, you need to have a goal, right? don't worry about getting there.
Right.
You're gonna figure it out. But you need to have a goal and be disciplined about it. You take it one day at a time.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a hell of a discipline, man.
Yeah.
But I think also like having that level of discipline must be, a little bit lonely also. So how have you managed to deal with like
You gotta
the
have
loneliness,
fun. You
the
gotta have fun.
self-doubt?
Yeah. So for me, it's like you gotta have fun. You gotta.
Right.
So you need to be. So yeah, of course, you gotta have a fine balance, right? So you need to be very disciplined, but have fun with it.
Right,
You know what I'm
for
saying?
sure,
Have
for
fun
sure.
with it, because you cannot. In Ghana, we even had the thing like all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, right? But the thing is, you gotta be able to make sure that everything that you do, you're doing it freely and willingly, and also having fun with it,
For
right?
sure,
So,
for sure.
I mean, I play a lot of soccer. I do a lot of personal care stuff. You know, like spend time with family.
Right.
You know, like so. Like I'm very close to my brothers, right? We catch up all the time when we get the opportunity. So I think that is one of the things that a lot of people are missing, right? Where it's like, if you set your mind to something, you're going, but you need to figure out a way
Right.
to like enjoy the process while you go through it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Got you. So, what are some of the daily habit or routine that, have kept you focused on your long-term goals, like?
So let me tell you something. So I have a very interesting, how do I say it? Daily routine, because I can't sleep past more than 5 hours a day.
Okay.
I've always slept between 4 and 5 hours. No matter what, I'm always sleeping between 4 and 5 hours.
Right.
So I go to bed around midnight. I wake up by 4 a.m.
Okay.
Between 4 and 5, I prepare my entire day.
4 a.m.
4 a.m.
Between 4
every
and
day.
5 a.m.
Yes. I prepare my entire what my day is gonna look. Meaning, I update my calendar. I get ready for the gym.
Right.
Meal prep. Do all that basic things.
Yeah.
And then at 5 a.m., I go to the gym. I go to the gym. I'm there for about an hour and a half. Come back, shower, get ready for work.
Right.
Then when I go to the office, I make sure I do what I need to do to leave as early as possible, because there's a lot of traffic in Seattle.
Right.
So when I leave the office, during the time I'm driving back home, I catch up with all my friends and families, because I don't have any other time in the day to be doing that.
Right. So you make the best out of
Exactly.
the time available to you.
Exactly.
Right.
And this is during traffic hours, right? It takes me about an hour to get to the office, just commuting. So
Got it.
I do that, and then when I get home, I meal prep, and then I continue with, like, if I have calls that I need to, like, work calls, right? So I have colleagues in China that I got to catch up with. And then after that, I make time for myself to meditate. I meditate a little bit, or like maybe more quiet time, or whatever. Lately, it hasn't been that great, but I also make sure, I make time for my personal things that I need to do.
Right. So, like now, where you are now compared to when you started, right?
Right.
What does success mean to you now, compared to the earlier days?
The earlier days.
Yeah.
Earlier days, I would say success was like the cars, the house, all these things. Right. And like
the
watches, exactly. But like now in life, like I have all those, right? Where I'm just, but then I'm just like it can be a little empty, right? Because all those things are vanity, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So for me, success now, what it means is a peace of mind.
For sure.
Peace of mind. So like being able to like sit down and just take care of the people I love, right? Being able to just help, the less fortunate people, right? And being able to do the things I like brings me a lot of peace, rather than like, the houses and the cars and all of that.
But then again, I have to ask you though, like, having achieved all the things that you have achieved so far,
right?
How do you still manage to stay humble? Because it's really difficult to, stay humble, right?
Yeah.
Like when people ask you, what do you do? And then you tell them, it's like,
I know. Yeah. And it's funny too, because in my industry, at least in the companies that I work at, like to be a black man, to be working in corporate America, you got to work 10 times harder
Exactly.
to be like the average white person. Right. So like, cause like, you know, not a whole lot of us are given this opportunity, right? You got to work really hard and you got to look a certain way. So before I even had dreadlocks, I remember some mentors were telling me those days at Amazon, I started growing my hair. They were like, yeah, you need to keep a clean cut. You got to look a certain way in corporate America. But again, I defied it. I'm like, why do I have to change how I look to be in this industry? Well, you got to see me for my work, what I bring to the table, right? So I kind of carved my own path and then let my work speak to itself, right? And so to answer your question, how do I stay humble? I'll just say, just be myself, right? Because and also remembering my beginnings, right? Like my parents taught me a lot of discipline and about like accepting who you are and not looking down on you know other things or trying to be too arrogant to show flashy things because it doesn't really add any value to your life. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So you know if you know you would go back in time, right? To let's say the 18-year-old Yao.
Yo.
or any Ghanaian youth who is, you know, outside in Ghana right now.
Right.
And is dreaming of moving overseas to make it.
Right.
What advice would you say to them, or you know, what are some of the things that you know, what would you advise them?
I would say they just got to be adaptable. They need to have an open mind. Of course, we all have our own ideas and beliefs, right? Like when I was going to the States, I had my entire like vision of how I wanted life to be. It's completely opposite. And I fell on my face flat. Like it changed my life, right? So I think when people are trying to, you know, make it somewhere else, just have an open mind.
Right.
You have to understand that things are not gonna be easy. Things are gonna be different, and you should be willing to accept it.
If someday your story would be made into a movie, what would the title be like, and why? Sip some water for that one.
Yo, I don't even know. I feel like it would be something like The Adventures. I don't even know, man. Like something that it would probably be like an autobiography of my life. But it would be like The Adventures of Yao, the fall and rise instead of the rise and fall.
Right. The fall and rise. Makes sense.
Because like again, like I had a very great upbringing, very decent life in Ghana. Came here, I hit the bottom rock, like lowest of the low. Kept figuring out, you know, what I had to do. Kept adapting to the environment because I lived in so many different states, and you know, I just had to adapt, right? And eventually, being able to understand the way of life with people out there kind of really shaped the way or the trajectory of my career. Does that make sense?
Right. So now, you know, my last question for you, Yao, is you've basically already been through Amazon, been through Facebook, Meta, and now TikTok. So what is next for you, and what legacy do you want to leave behind?
That's a very good question. I'm starting my own business.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm working on starting my own business. And for me, once that takes off, I think I'll be done with corporate America. I'm hoping maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, that would kick off, and then that would be it. But in the meantime, I think I'm just gonna keep working hard where I am right now. If I get another opportunity with another tech company, I'll take it, because you never know, right? You never know what life brings you. But like I told you at the beginning, right? I set up my mind in such a way that I'm a strong believer that words are powerful. Very powerful. Whatever you say your mind to do, or whatever you say, it's eventually going to happen if you believe in it, right? And I said, I was like, I remember growing up in Ghana in secondary school. It's like I want to go to school in the US. That was my mindset.
Right.
That happened. I came to the US. I told myself I'm gonna work for a tech company, and that's happening. I'm gonna own my business. That's gonna happen, right? And it's just gonna be what it is.
And with the man that you are, we believe that everything is possible.
Yes.
I think also, like, for our audience, I want you to say a few words to them. Anybody who is probably, struggling to believe in themselves, or they're having some self-doubt and stuff like that, with all that you've done, with all the experiences, can you just give them a little something, a little advice, a little piece of
absolutely
hope, inspiration?
Yeah. I mean, I would say though, anything you set your mind to, I know it's not gonna be easy. There's nothing in this life that is easy. It might seem easy from the outside, but on the inside, everybody has their own internal struggles, right? But don't give up. You don't give up. You just got to keep pushing. You just got to keep believing. And you got to make sure that everything that you do, you're involving the right people as well. You're making good decisions, right? You're going to make mistakes, but try to stay on the good side of the law as much as possible, and keep pushing, keep believing. I think that's what it is.
Yo, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
For this amazing one.
Yes, absolutely.
Looking to see you maybe in the next 3 or 5 years, and then we'll see, what you have been able to build or achieve.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
absolutely.
for the meantime, guys, thank you very much for watching this. And ladies and gentlemen, yo.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate you all.
Thanks.
All
Respect.
right.
Thank you.